It seems that the administration has several opinions about a variety of things that are happening in the world right now. Iran and the issue of sanctions and the alleged bugaboo about a nuclear program that everyone in the world knows, including Washington, is not a military program. There are some in the administration that have been moving forward to try to reach a deal that would lift the sanctions and the, satisfy everyone that the concerns have been addressed. Objectively, the concerns have been addressed. The IAEA says there's no weapons program. Everyone that's inspected says there's no weapons program. Even people inside the intelligence agencies here in the United States admit there's no weapons program. But in any event, for the purposes of appearances, settle that issue and lift the sanctions, which, by the way, predate the concerns about a weapons program, but that's another matter. Looking at the situation in Syria as a parallel, where you had a drive to war and then a halt, and then the halt predated the Putin initiative by Obama kicking the ball over to the Congress, if you recall, back in August and early September. So there's push and pull in a variety of ways, but there's also some very aggressive actions that are being taken across the board. If you look at Victoria Nuland standing in the streets of Kiev, inciting a riot, essentially, along with members of the EU, as a very forward-based action against Ukraine and Russia. And if you look at the imposition of sanctions by the administration in the midst of negotiating to remove them and the negotiations moving forward and reaping material progress, you get either the impression that there is chaos behind the scenes in the White House and in Langley and in wherever the various halls of power here, or that there's not, and there is instead a very aggressive multi-front based attack being waged by the United States on all of the ascending powers in the world right now, the BRICS countries, those that are independently building their economies, the ALBA countries, because there's also been all kinds of activity against Nicaragua, people sabotaging the electric grid going into the elections, and across the world. So Russia, as an honest broker, says that the U.S. is violating the spirit of the agreement by imposing these additional sanctions, which they're saying aren't sanctions but are rather enforcement of existing sanctions. The Congress is moving ahead with new sanctions despite the negotiations that have been going on. And to me, it's clear that there is some sort of an aggressive posture being taken by the U.S. across the world right now, and the situation with Iran, unfortunately, is just one of the pegs on the board that they're playing with, and the honest negotiations that were taking place apparently are being sabotaged. That decision apparently has been made in the White House, and it makes it less optimistic in terms of there being an agreement than people, and myself included, were a few weeks ago.